Well, from high-flying promises of debt reduction to worrisome developments in the sky, I'm not sure what's going to make it harder for me to sleep on my next flight, the uncomfortable seats or the uncomfortable knowledge that the air traffic controller guiding our plane is pretty tired. Joining me now, Mark Murphy. He's the founder and CEO of Travel Pulse. Mark, welcome back to the show. So, new information that air traffic controllers are super tired and they work incredible hours.
Yep.
Tell us about these schedules these folks have to follow.
Well, they can choose to follow these rattler schedules, and these rattler schedules are basically jamming a 40-hour work week into 4 days. And then the benefit to the air traffic control guy is he gets 80 hours off in one shot. So, you know, it's like the nursing profession, other professions where they jam it in.
So what would the hours and days look like leading up to that weekend, that extended weekend?
So in those 4 days, you may go to work and get finished at 3 p.m., but they need to be back on at 11 p.m. And that's where it gets messed up because it disrupts your sleep patterns. If you could have a consistent sleep pattern, even if you had to do 10 or 12 hours each of those days, let's say a 10-hour day, it would be better than doing 2 8s within a 24-hour period, because then your sleep pattern's completely disrupted. You know what jet lag feels like? You got guys in the control tower that are jet lagged. Potentially.
I shouldn't be operating a tricycle when I have jet lag, much less directing planes, you know, through an airport. But so these rattler schedules, though, are preferred by these air traffic controllers themselves. Why can't we get rid of this?
Well, it's just they talked about 3 years ago when you had the video footage of people sleeping in some of these secondary towers where it was a quiet airport. And in some cases, some of these incompetent air traffic controllers, and most of them are very competent, some of them were filmed doing that, basically asleep at the wheel, if you would. Now, they clamped down on that, and they said they were going to try to change this. Now we're 3 years in advance, and we're still seeing the same scheduling. So do they need to comply with what the pilots are doing and some of the other things?
Well, that was my next question for you, because pilots have schedules. They absolutely have to work. I mean, those people have to get sleep. Why not air traffic controllers?
No, I think it has to be regulated. These are the things that you have to make sure safety is the #1 priority. So I think the government now is going to have a spotlight back on it again. This story's starting to percolate a little bit more, and by putting a spotlight on it, I guess we can get them to act. Maybe.
Okay, now we're going to switch gears a little bit and have some air traffic fun. Okay.
Yes, and gears is an appropriate way, because if I have a 10-speed in the air, is that how it works?
It sort of is. So this is unbelievable to me, but there are, you know, makers of planes that want to put like a bicycle seat in for, I can't believe you would actually buy a ticket for a seat like this. Take a look. So it would be like riding a bike when you sat on the plane. Yeah. Completely uncomfortable. Good idea?
Well, it's just a patent application right now for this new design, which hopefully will never come to fruition. But if you remember, a couple years ago, Ryanair tried to do strap hanging and have people stand. So, of course, they wouldn't allow that. And, you know, the question is, will this be safe? They'll test it out. And the goal of the airline is one thing: more people, more revenue, more profits.
More money.
Now, keep in mind, the Airbus A380 can be configured for almost 850 economy passengers on a two-deck plane.
So annoying. I can't believe it.
Just imagine with bicycle seats how many get on there.
Terrible. Terrible. A lot, right?
Absolutely.
So, okay, here's what I'm thinking. What if there's an emergency? How do all these people get off the plane?
Well, I think you practice your spin class while you're, we're off track here.
Wrong.
No, what you do is you make sure that you can get the heck off the plane. And that's the first thing they're going to do. They're going to basically check how long it'll take to clear out that plane. And if you can get an A380 cleared out, which they got approved for with the 2 decks, 850 economy passengers, even if they added more, which they will try to do with these larger and larger planes, they're going to continue to do that as long as it's
Will
safe.
they reduce my fare? That's what I want to know.
Heck no. Ideally, you'll pay more and get less.
It's the way of the world in the air. I think so. Mark, thanks for coming on. Good to see you.
Thank you.
And now we want to know what you think. Here's our question tonight. Would you buy a bicycle seat on an airplane? Log on to GerriWillis.com and vote. I'll share the results at the end of tonight's show.